on a motorbike, because I was a dispatch rider then. I was a dispatch rider for a Camel recovery wagon, and we used to go up the line and drag Bren carriers or whatever had broke down, hitch them up to this Camel recovery, and like the police go up and down the line with a motorbike, don't they? Well, I was doing that in the army with a Camel, and then you came back to the base workshops and they repaired them or broke them up or whatever. Yeah. And I watched all the troops come in at Arnhem, and I watched the gliders come in, and I watched the Germans shooting them as they jumped out of the gliders. I saw so many people got killed like that. You got no chance. Yeah. But that's as far as I went, up to there. Went to Nijmegen, but yeah. And then after that, what I did was I used to go backwards and forwards to the base workshops, and I came down the road with a chap on the back of the motorbike going back, and then some other bloke on a motorbike come out of a sides turning and went boom at me. Hit the front of my bike. I shot forward, trapped my leg, fractured my ankle. I went in the hospital in Brussels General Hospital, and then I was evacuated on a Dakota back here. Then I went from here to where, and I spent about 6 months in Pennycook in Edinburgh, and then they eventually said, right, you are eligible for Far East. And I then got sent to India for a year, and I thought it was the worst place God made because I had prickly heat all the time I was there. I forgot to finish it. I spent a year out there, and then when I came out, which was in 1946, I got demobbed then. I went to so many places, you know what I mean? I was stationed in this home. You never stayed very long in one place, even in this country. You never stayed very long, you know. I mean, even when we went to France on the D-Day thing, for 1 minute you were going up there, but then if there was a bit of problem, then you was back down here. And you never knew where you were going to end up at the end of it all. I saw a lot of terrible things, which I better not tell you about. So many dead people, it was unbelievable. And what happened out there was, if you'd got a minefield and some of our own troops, got blown up and killed, they were left laying on the ground until a burial party could come and take them in. And what the Germans used to do at that particular time was put a mine underneath them. So when the burial party came along to get them, they got blown up as well at the same time. That is what happened. Yeah, and I saw so much of that, you know. Yeah, which isn't very nice, you know.
No, you must be glad to be out of that.
Oh yeah, it's not very nice, you know. Because I mean, all I ever used to think about was I was 19. I used to think somebody's son, that is, his mum and dad wouldn't like to see him like that, or his wife or whatever. Yeah.
So
yeah.
did that? How did that affect you?
Well, being young and didn't care kind of thing, it didn't make any difference to me. I mean, I've even told you bits and pieces here that were never told in my house. And it is also very funny when you came to this Legion. There was a lot of us old soldiers here, and nobody ever spoke about what went on to their families. I don't know why, but it was just a thing that happened, you know. I mean, I went on a motorbike. I went with an officer there on another motorbike and a couple of DRs. They went, there's a Bren carrier in that field, we've got to go and drag it in. And it was a minefield, and we just went across this minefield. And when we got to this Bren carrier, I didn't know what death smelt like, but I just went, there's somebody dead here. That was it. And the person, this Bren carrier had got blown up underneath, and the driver of the Bren carrier was sitting there, and his arms was off, and his legs were off, and his skin was just peeling off of him because he'd been sitting there so long. And what you did then was you picked up all bits of his body and you put it into a big box, which was a ration box. You put it in there, and his identity discs, and then they would give it a proper burial. Now you've learnt something that people haven't learnt in my home.